Little Red Riding Hood, adapted from the Brothers Grimm by Janaid Spiron. For grades 1 and first grade and up, and could be used to distinguish the differences between this Little Red Riding Hood and the Red Riding Hoods told today. Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was loved by everyone. She wore a red hood that was a gift from her grandmother. The little girl liked it so much that she never took it off, and that's why she became known as Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said to her, "Would you take this cake to your grandmother? She is sick in bed, and this food will make her feel better. Mind your manners and do not leave the path for any reason." Little Red Riding Hood took the basket and set off. As she was walking through the woods, she met a large wolf. "Good morning," said the wolf. "Where are you going so early in the day?" "To grandmother's house," said Little Red Riding Hood. "She's sick in bed, and my mother says the cake in this basket will make her feel better." "Oh," said the wolf, "and where does your grandmother live?" "She lives in a house under 3 big oak trees," said Little Red Riding Hood. I know just where that is at," said the wolf. The wolf walked along with Little Red Riding Hood for a while. Then he said, "Why don't you stop and pick some flowers?" "I'll pick a bouquet for my grandmother," said Little Red Riding Hood. So she left the path to pick some flowers while the wolf said goodbye and ran straight to her grandmother's house. He knocked on the door. Tap, tap, tap. "Who's there?" came an old crackly voice. "Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf in a voice as sweet as honey. "Come right in," said grandmother. "I'm sick in bed." The wolf opened the door and saw the grandmother lying against a big pillow. Before she could even blink, the wolf jumped on her and gobbled her up. Then he put on one of her bed caps and pulled the covers up to his neck. Soon along came Little Red Riding Hood. She knocked on the door. Tap, tap, tap. "Who's there?" asked the wicked wolf in an old woman's voice. "It's Little Red Riding Hood, and I brought you some cake from Mother." "Come in," called the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood opened the door, walked over to her grandmother's bed, and climbed up. "Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "The better to hug you with," said the wicked wolf. "Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "The better to hear you with," the wicked wolf said. "Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "The better to see you with," said the wicked wolf. "Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "The better to eat you with," said the wicked wolf. And with that he leaped out of bed and swallowed Little Red Riding Hood in one big gulp. Then he climbed back under the covers and fell fast asleep. Soon he was snoring. After a while, 2 hunters passed by the house. "How the old lady snores," said one. "Let's see if she's all right." They pushed open the door and saw the wolf lying in the bed, in the grandmother's bed. "A great big wolf," shouted the hunters. The wolf woke up and jumped on the floor. The hunters lifted their guns to shoot him, but then they noticed the wolf's fat stomach. "I bet that wicked wolf ate the old woman," they yelled. "Let's open his stomach and see." They chased the wolf outdoors and took one of their hunting knives and cut open his stomach. Out jumped Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. "It was dark in there," cried Little Red Riding Hood. "I was so frightened." She grabbed her grandmother's hand and they ran back into the house as fast as they could. "I feel so much better," said Grandmother, as she sat down in her favorite chair. Then she ate that cake that her granddaughter had brought. Little Red Riding Hood climbed into her grandmother's lap. "I will never leave the path again when Mother tells me not to," she said, and she gave Grandmother a hug and a kiss.